What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. We are here for the penultimate round of the season. Of course, this is season 3 of our My Team Career Mode, and we're going to be at Las Vegas. Now, in the previous video at the Portuguese Grand Prix, despite our best attempts to try and get a strong points finish there, the F1 gods said no. We pitted. We went on to a different strategy to everybody else where we tried to sort of get an undercut on everyone, and during that period between myself pitting and everyone else pitting, there was a red flag, and that basically ruined our entire race beyond that point. We ended up finishing P11. It wasn't a terrible result, all things considered, but definitely I feel like we could have done a lot better than we ended up doing. Nonetheless, we are now here for Las Vegas. We need to get a good result today. Preferably myself and Dennis Hauger both need to be in the points today, or we are going to be struggling in that Constructors' Championship. We are 10 points behind Alpine in the Constructors' Championship, and we've only got 2 races left to get ahead of them. So unless we're going to be getting some race wins in these last couple races, which I have to be honest with you, I think it's quite unlikely at these circuits. I'm okay at Las Vegas historically, but Abu Dhabi is not a track which I think I am going to be winning at anytime soon, at least based on my track record there, especially you know, looking back into previous games as well. I think I got 1 win there in F1 22 across 7 seasons, and then in this game, you know, we only raced there once, but the race was very sort of so-so. So I think I think Las Vegas is going to be a big race for us today. I think if we can get a good result here, then we will truly be in the money. Regarding my teammate for the following season, I haven't seen the comments for yesterday's video yet because of the time frame that I usually record these in. But if you are watching this video, there's a good chance I've probably already recorded the next video that's coming out already. So yeah, if you wanted to help me pick a teammate, I think the time to do that has probably passed. But just to remind you, just in case something does happen, my choices for who I'm kind of looking at to be my teammate for next season are going to be Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, or Pierre Gasly. Those are the 3 guys who I'm looking at the most. Just a word on the practice session we just did, because I kind of skirted over that while I was talking about teammates. We finished P9 there. It was okay, I guess, but Dennis Hauger was actually P2. A really solid performance from him, so I'm hoping that we can see a solid result from him here in qualifying. Maybe he can have a Q3 appearance. He's on his way out of the team regardless of what happens. I'm not negotiating that one anymore, because there's kind of, you know, I don't think he's really lived up to the potential that I felt like he had when I signed him all the way back at the start of season 2. He had 2 seasons with our team, and it just wasn't working out. So yeah, we're gonna be switching it up, but we'll see if we can get a you know, we'll see if we can end his time with us with a bang, and hopefully, you know, sort of put him on the map for another team on the grid to maybe sign him at the end of the season. Yeah, we do a 131.0 on a fresh set of soft compound tyres to kick off qualifying, but we end up doing a much better run at the second time of asking, which is good because we're all the way down in P14. As you cross the line, it's a 130.1, which is a lot better, and good enough at P4 initially. So, yeah, a strong Q1. If we can get that kind of performance in Q3, I will be fairly happy with that. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly right behind me in P5 and P6, though, so I am going to need to maybe pick up the pace a little bit in time for the following qualifying sessions if I want to beat those guys to beat Alpine to the Constructors' Championship. Dennis Hauger also in P8, a solid performance from him, outperforming both of the Mercedes actually, a really strong performance from him. Meanwhile, we say goodbye to Lawson, Fittipaldi, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Tsunoda and De Vries. It's Joe and Albon from the 4 back marker teams that are making it through on this occasion. And yeah, disappointing performance from Tsunoda. I have to say, I was expecting a little bit better from him than he has been over the races since I've kind of had my eye on him, as it were. But you know, maybe he'll be able to pick things up over the course of this race and in Abu Dhabi as well, just in time for contract negotiations. And yeah, maybe he'll be able to find his way into the team after all. On a used set of soft compound tyres, we do a 130.8. It's good enough for P9 as we cross the line, and as we make our way onto our second flying lap, we are once again down in P14. So yeah, not where we would want to be, but we are improving. Hopefully by enough. We will see as we make our way into the final sector. And I mean, we're up by over a second at this point. Piastri's in the 130.3s. So I would wage to say that this time is probably going to be good enough to see us through to Q3. It's a 129.7, and that is good enough to put us P3. So we're improving actually from Q1. We did a 130.2 there. We did a 129.7 here, and yeah, we're only about a tenth slower than Leclerc and Verstappen there. Faster than Bottas, Perez. Norris is out, so that might be his championship hopes over already, regardless of what happens. Bottas can mathematically win the championship on this occasion, but yeah, Norris is out along with Hauger, and Piastri, Magnussen, Albon and Joe also don't make the cut. So both Alpines through, not what I particularly wanted to see. Hauger, if he'd have been a tenth faster, would have knocked out Pierre Gasly, but you know, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, Bottas mathematically can win the championship this weekend. All he needs to do is outscore his nearest competitor by 3 points, I think. I believe his nearest competitor is his teammate, George Russell, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, all he would need to do is just outscore George Russell by 3 points, and the championship will be Bottas's. Our first flying lap on another used set of soft compound tyres, another 130.8. Hopefully we can find a similar degree of improvement in the soft compound run on a fresh set of tyres at the end of Q3 compared to what we did in Q2. You know, sort of get it improving by about a second or so. As we make our way into the final sector, you can see we're 8 tenths up. If we can make up a couple more tenths in these final few corners, we should be absolutely cooking. And well, we've done exactly that. We are 1.1 seconds up at the moment. Looks like we might just about creep into the 129.6s actually. So this will be our fastest lap of the weekend, and what a time to do it. But how good will it be? We cross the line. It is a 129.6. Is it pole position? No, it's P2, but it's still pretty good. We were improving all the time, and we will be starting on the front row of the grid.
Let's review our top three today: Ocon, Robinson and George Russell. The qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Well, that is not who I was expecting to see at the top of the qualifying leaderboard at the end of Q3. Esteban Ocon has got his first pole position in Formula 1, and what a time to do it when the team knows that they have to withstand the pressure from our team. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly in P4. I am going to have to do a hell of a job today if I want any chance of taking home more points than Alpine with them starting P1 and P4. Meanwhile, Valtteri Bottas, championship contender, could mathematically wrap up the championship this weekend, starting 10th. Meanwhile, his teammate, I think, is starting 3rd. He's going to have a hell of a mountain to climb as Valtteri Bottas. But, you know, he's done some amazing performances over the course of the season. So I hope for his sake that he can make his way through the order. I've been saying in previous videos, since I'm mathematically out the championship, it's Bottas I'm rooting for. He's retiring from Formula 1 after just 2 more races. So, yeah, I want to see if he can go out with a bang. But, yeah, Esteban Ocon, Jesus, I was not expecting that at all. Hopefully we can just jump him off the start like we always do. You know how it is. I tend to get better starts than the AI, so that's what I'm hoping we will see. But, I mean, who knows what could happen. If he gets a good start, that could be our chances of beating Alpine over. But we will see what we can do as we get into the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
After all the parties, after all the talk, after all the speculation, drivers and fans alike can't wait for this one. Welcome to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. "17 corners, 3 straights and 2 DRS zones. We have taken over the world-famous strip, and Formula 1 is going to have a top speed there of around 210 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Esteban Ocon lines up on pole position, and Robinson completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Gasly, Perez, Stroll, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Hauger, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Albon, Joe, Liam Lawson, Fittipaldi, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Bottas, Tsunoda and Nick de Vries. And now it's time to head down to the track. And Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, what's the emotions like down there on the grid in these final stirring moments? Are they excited? Are they nervous? Take us behind the wheel. Let's briefly talk about Esteban Ocon.
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? And apart from that, keep an eye out for anyone getting a good launch from the midfield. You see it happen from time to time, and it can really throw a spanner into the races of the quicker cars and push them into a more risky strategy.
Well, even more difficulty for Valtteri Bottas to wrap up the championship in this race now, and to maybe even hold on to his championship lead. If George Russell has a good race today, Bottas could lose it. He's starting 20th because of a grid penalty. I can only assume that's for changing components, but yeah, it's not going to be easy for the man from Finland whatsoever. We need to have a good race here. We probably need to win, honestly, if I'm being perfectly frank about the situation, because we will probably be taking a grid penalty in Abu Dhabi just for the simple fact that we're starting to wear out our gearbox again. Despite the fact that we took a gearbox penalty in Mexico, it's starting to get worn out again. So yeah, it might be another penalty we need to take for that one. But we'll see what we can do here in Las Vegas as the lights come on and the lights go out, and we've had a very good getaway compared to Esteban Ocon. He basically went nowhere off the line. Neither did Gasly by the looks of things, and that is exactly what I wanted to see. The Alpines are all the way down to 4th and I believe 6th or 7th for Pierre Gasly. Absolutely shocking start for both of them. Perez is up to P2 or 3. He's battling with Russell. That's allowing me to break away all the while. Russell currently through into P2 as well, and Stroll is up to P5 as well, so he's had a pretty good start. And yeah, I'm just going to try and break away now. Just try and get as far away from these guys as I possibly can. Just nope the hell out of here, and yeah, try and score the maximum 25 points for leading 25 laps of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Something tells me it's not going to be quite as clear cut as that, but we will see. We will see what is going to happen over the 25 laps that unfold here. We've already broken out of the DRS range of Sergio Perez behind. He's currently the man in P2. George Russell in P3. Any of these guys conceivably could catch me at any point, and well, that is going to be pretty bad news for us if so, because the more points that we lose, the higher chance there is of Alpine outscoring us this weekend, especially with them still in quite high positions. You know, if in 4th and 7th, they're still poised to score 18 points, which would be the same amount that I would score if I come second. Verstappen now is up into P5 as well. He is someone who still mathematically is in the championship fight at this point, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I think definitely Russell, Perez and Bottas are, and I think one of Norris and Verstappen is still in it, but I can't remember who. So you'll have to forgive me on that one. But we will see what the Drivers' Championship looks like at the end of this race. And you know, well, I assume Bottas probably isn't going to win it if he's starting in P20, but we will see. As we move on to lap 5 now, nothing had really happened up until this point, but finally we come under some pressure from some of the cars behind. This is actually Max Verstappen in the Red Bull who is piling some pressure on us, along with Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. George Russell has fallen down a little bit. He's fighting with Perez and I think Norris in the McLaren. Both Ocon and Verstappen have now got ahead of me, so we're down into P3. Maybe we can try and fight this back. This is not what I wanted to see. Esteban Ocon, having had a shocking start, has reclaimed the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, but not for long. He's now fallen back down behind Max Verstappen and also behind myself as we sweep around the inside into lap 6. We switch to the inside of the next corner and we are going to retake the lead off of Max Verstappen. Esteban Ocon, meanwhile, pushing Max Verstappen out of the way. No love lost between those guys for what happened in Brazil 2018, I believe it was. And yeah, we are up into P1, but we are going to be coming under significant pressure from the cars behind, starting with Esteban Ocon, who's going to try and dive up the inside at this next corner. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Yes, I just go a tiny bit too deep into the corner. We can't stay with him. And yeah, Esteban Ocon retaking the lead once again of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. He will feel like he is overdue a second victory in Formula 1. At this point, it has been over 4 years since his last victory, of course. And as we switch to the replay camera, once again, you can see that Max Verstappen Verstappen is closing and closing and closing as Esteban Ocon pulls further and further away. My exit speed from these corners not fantastic, but the thing that was really helping me is that the car was topping out nicely at about 220 or 230 on the occasions when I did have the DRS. So despite the fact that Max Verstappen has overtaken me on this occasion, I actually feel like we do have something to defend with. That said, Lando Norris was looking to go for a move on me there. He just about doesn't pull it off. But yeah, that was pretty treacherous as Max Verstappen's actually pulling into the pits. I'm assuming he must have got damage from something earlier in the lap. I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, damage for Max Verstappen caused him to pit early, and we find ourselves in P2 once again. And coming under pressure from Lando Norris, so we might not be here for long. Lando Norris diving up the inside before we even get to that big long straight on the Las Vegas Strip. And well, the detection point is actually on the straight, which means that we are going to be getting the DRS on this occasion and just blasting back past Lando Norris as Logan Sargent retires from the Grand Prix. And we are very lucky that we got that overtake done in time before that retirement, because there was a virtual safety car deployed, and we will see what happens to Logan Sargent in just a moment. He is, if I'm not mistaken, he has had some absolutely terrible luck at his home Grand Prix this season. Not scoring any points. Well, he's not scored any points all season. Basically, none of the backmarker teams have, apart from, I think Albon scored 2 in one race. And that's the only time that any of the bottom 4 teams have scored points all season. So, yeah, it was just a mechanical failure for Logan Sargent. Nothing more than that. Very unlucky. And yeah, we are going to be once again trying to keep Lando Norris behind on the very next lap. He does the exact same thing, but I'm hoping that as a result of that, we should just be able to blast straight back past him like we did on the previous lap. You know, if someone goes for the same overtake, I'm going to go for the same re-overtake. And yeah, it takes us a little bit longer to get it done this time because he does break a bit further away, but nonetheless, we have made our way through. At the moment, we are on for 18 points. Meanwhile, Alpine on for 30. Well, I was going to say 37 points. It's actually 40 now because Gasly's got ahead of Norris, although that was short-lived. So, yeah, Gasly currently on course for 12 points. Ocon on course for 25 points. Myself on course for 18. We need Hauger to get into the points. Not only that, we need to catch up with Esteban Ocon, because otherwise, basically, anything we do isn't going to count unless Hauger can get himself up into about, well, it would be probably about 4th we would need him to be in order to outscore the Alpines by any meaningful metric. But even then, we're 10 points behind them. We need more than this. It's going to take something so crazy to happen in this race. Now, Esteban Ocon is 5.7 seconds up the road, and we're just coming under pressure from Norris and Gasly behind. You know, we are not closing him down. We are being closed down by his teammate, who's going to try and go to the outside. As Lando Norris goes to the inside, we're going to dive through the middle, go deep into the corner, and somehow we've held on to P2. But all the while, that's just allowing Ocon to get further and further ahead. Norris and Gasly battling away behind a little bit is going to allow me to break away just a tiny bit. But yeah, this is not what we would want right now. You know, I'm doing lap times that are 4 seconds slower than my fastest lap time. It might be worth boxing early, I don't know. But I don't think I'm going to do that whilst I'm keeping these guys behind. There would be a chance for me to maybe undercut Ocon, but I honestly think he would just straight overtake me again. So we stay out to lap 12. The fighting that was going on behind allowed Carlos Sainz actually to break through into P3, and now he's going to be trying to go up the inside, putting some pressure on me before we get to that big long straight, and he has done exactly that. He has made his way up into P2, but we should be able to do to him what we did to his best mate, Lando Norris, in multiple laps earlier in this Grand Prix, and blast back past him with the DRS. Let's see as we move to the outside. By the time that we get to that corner, we're going to be a long way ahead of him because yeah, the DRS is just extremely overpowered on this circuit, it seems. At least in that particular DRS zone. I would be curious to see what happens at the Las Vegas Grand Prix this weekend. Obviously, I am doing this race shortly before the actual Las Vegas Grand Prix takes place. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens with regards to that. But yeah, we are going to be boxing at the end of lap 12. Going to be going on to a set of hard compound tyres. Ocon has pitted. Perez has already pitted in this race, as has Verstappen, so they've undercut me, and it looks like Lando Norris possibly has as well. So yeah, we may We may have fumbled a little bit by staying out as long as we did. We're coming under pressure now from Kevin Magnussen, who is going to have the DRS here. Yes, we're going to have the DRS on Norris as well, but Magnussen had a way better exit from that corner. And here he comes. Is he going to try and go for a move? We brake way too early. I don't know what I was doing there, quite frankly. Just letting Magnussen go through. I had no confidence on the brakes. One thing I guess I should probably mention now, I don't know if I've got time to, but I'm going to do it anyway, is that throughout pretty much the entire race, I was struggling so much for grip on corner exits. And also braking performance was another thing. The brakes just felt like they were stone cold the whole time. I was getting basically no braking performance into any of these corners, and that was really causing me to struggle against these guys. So while we were fast in a straight line, our braking performance was nil, and you can see it right there. The only reason why we even went for that move was a complete accident, because we couldn't get the car slowed down in time. So we ended up just diving a move up the inside of Kevin Magnussen. We made our way back past, but it wasn't quite as good as it looked. It wasn't like an amazing, like, oh my god, we've gone for the overtake type scenario. It was a, I genuinely don't understand the braking performance of this car. I was having to brake about, you know, maybe 50 meters or more before the racing line was telling me, in order to get the car stopped in time to make the apex of the corner. Things were really drastically bad at this point in time, and I was trying my hardest to mitigate it. But you have to understand, like, when you don't have confidence in the brakes in a Formula 1 car, it's like every overtake you try and go for is just 10 times more complicated than it needs to be. We are going to have the DRS to Lando Norris. It actually seemed like he had some kind of mechanical problem, because he was going very, very slowly compared to what I had witnessed from the majority of the cars on the grid up until this point. So yeah, it's not looking like we're going to be troubled too much by Lando Norris beyond this point. Topping out at 231 miles an hour there. The engine was making some very weird sounds. I was holding down the throttle the whole way, but it was almost like the engine couldn't handle how high the revs were there. Now we are looking at the two Alfa Romeos. It's Tsunoda in front, Zhou Guanyu behind, and I think Zhou's about to size up a move on his teammate around the outside, but he's got it all wrong, and that is a very dramatic crash at high speed for Zhou Guanyu. I wouldn't be surprised if that was at least a safety car, if not maybe even a red flag, because that was an extremely violent crash for Zhou Guanyu. Lots of debris scattered across the track. We will see what happens. And yes, it is a full safety car has been deployed basically immediately, and yeah, that is actually really good for us now I think about it, because Perez, Verstappen and Ocon were all more than 10 seconds up the road from me, and this is going to allow me to catch them. But even more than that, it's actually potentially going to allow me to get ahead of Verstappen and Perez, who have boxed under the safety car, I guess because they both boxed early in the race. I think Verstappen due to damage, not sure about Perez, but yeah, they're both in, and this is going to allow me to make my way into P2, and all of a sudden we're going to be right on the back of Esteban Ocon, who was 13 seconds up the road from me before the safety car came out, and now we are right on his gearbox. We are going to need to get the restart of dreams here if we want any chance of closing down Esteban Ocon. I need to make this one count more than I have ever made a restart count before. We definitely had a good run on him here. We're going to try and go around the outside, but once again it's the brakes. They let us down. We just go way too deep into the corner, and Esteban Ocon has made his way through on us. But it's even more dramatic than that, because as I'm trying to find my bearings once again in this race, Oscar Piastri is hounding us for position, and that is meaning that we are falling away from Esteban Ocon. Oscar Piastri is going to go up the inside of me at the end of this long straight, and that is going to cause me to lose more and more time to Esteban Ocon, and all of a sudden he is more than a second up the road, and it seems like Esteban Ocon may have actually gotten away with this one. This is not what we wanted to see whatsoever. I was hoping that I would be able to challenge him for the win, but we've actually lost a position off of the safety car restart, so that is absolutely devastating, and it might not end there. We are coming under pressure from Lando Norris to the side of us, and Kevin Magnussen, who is just behind us as well, and we could be on course to lose one, maybe two more positions on this restart lap, as Lando Norris is going to try and go around the outside of us into the end of the long Las Vegas strip corner. And here's Kevin Magnussen. He's bottled it. He's absolutely bottled it. He's spun round and crashed straight into a wall. and that is almost certainly going to be at least a safety car, if not a red flag. He's in a very difficult position to recover his car from, so we will see what that is, and it is a red flag, and maybe, just maybe, there is still a chance for us in this race to beat Esteban Ocon. I don't know. We're going to need to have an absolutely remarkable restart, but there is one more shot for us to win this Grand Prix and maybe try and outscore Alpine here. They recommend us restarting on the medium compound tyres. I say absolutely not. No chance in hell am I going to be going onto the medium compound tyres. With only 4 laps left, we've got to go on the soft. We'll see what we can do as the lights come on once again. And the lights go out, and we've had a good getaway compared to Oscar Piastri, certainly. What about compared to Esteban Ocon? It seems like we have had a decent enough one to try and challenge him round the outside into turn 1 and 2, and by the time that we get to turn 3, we are going to be a full car length in front of Esteban Ocon. We're going to be burning all the battery to stay ahead of him down this straight. We do not want him to re-overtake us here. That would be the worst possible scenario. He's going to try and dive up the inside, but we squeeze him to the inside. I think he might have actually made a little bit of contact there with us as he was so desperate to go for the move. Do I blame him? No, because the team's stake is so high in this race right now. You know, this race is going to be the difference between P6 and P7 in the Constructors' Championship for both of these teams. It means so much for us right now. We are battling over the victory here. I did not expect that whatsoever. His teammate is still all the way in P5. Esteban Ocon is going to try and overtake me. He's going to try and retake that P1 off of me here, but he doesn't quite manage to do it around the outside, and so I think we're going to hold on to this one. But what is perhaps more surprising here is that Esteban Ocon decided that front wing damage that he got from that attempted overtake on me earlier in the lap was not worth it, and he's actually come into the pits. And so this showcase battle between myself and Esteban Ocon that was coming up towards the end of this race is no more. And yeah, he is basically neutralized. He will be scoring no points, and now suddenly this is a fantastic opportunity for us to take a big haul of points off of Alpine with Pierre Gasly all the way down at P4. Both of the McLarens now hounding me for this victory. I still want to hold on to it just to see how much I can outscore Alpine by. Every point helps in this scenario. We've got Lando Norris hounding us, and he went to go for a move around the outside and got it all wrong. He got it all mixed up. It was very similar to what happened with Zhou Guanyu earlier in the race, where he tried to overtake his teammate and got it all wrong around the outside. Lando Norris is out of the Grand Prix now, and Bottas, all of a sudden, from P20 on the grid, is all the way up to P3, and where he is right now is going to be good enough to win the World Championship. All he has to do is stay there. Piastri has overtaken me. I can't keep up with what is going on in this race right now. Piastri is through into P1. Is there a chance for us to close him down? I don't know. We're going to have the DRS here. We're going to be closing him down at a rate of knots, and by the time that we get to the corner, we are going to be ahead of him. Bottas is not going to be ahead of him. Bottas is still down in P3, but all we have to do is hold on from Oscar Piastri for one more lap, and we will win the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I am losing my voice. I am losing my mind. My face is going numb from how excited I am getting over this Grand Prix. This is, the Las Vegas Grand Prix, as much as I dislike this race because of how difficult the track is to drive, I can't deny this has been one of the most entertaining Grand Prix of the whole season. Oscar Piastri looking like he might have gone for a move up the inside there. He thinks better of it. Now we're going to have to defend from him. He will have the DRS because there has been at least 2 laps since that red flag. So we're going to have to burn basically all our battery to keep him behind. How high can we top out at? It's going to be 221 miles an hour, 222. Oscar Piastri definitely should have more straight line speed. He's going to try and go up the inside into the corner. We're going to squeeze him to the inside. We get the inside line. We almost get a tank slapper on. We almost crash the car. We somehow catch the slide. And, well, we're going to be burning the battery, but I think we're going to run out. We're going to hit the deployment limit. I basically burned everything I had, but it's not going to be enough. We're going to cross the line and take the victory.
It's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. What a special place to take the checkered flag and celebrate victory. This will be a night that will be long. It will be one they never forget. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Well, that was by far the most stressful victory I've had in Formula 1 so far. We do take the checkered flag in P1, however. We get the maximum gambit of 25 points. We are joined by Oscar Piastri, who got P2 there. And Valtteri Bottas is a World Drivers' Champion in Formula 1. 13 years in the sport. He is bowing out in the very next race, and he is a World Champion. Take a bow, Valtteri Bottas. What an incredible career, and what an incredible way to end it.
So let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. We also crown a champion today, as their lead at the top is now an insurmountable one. What a great year it's been for Formula 1. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Robinson.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Meanwhile, good work from the owner-drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula 1.
Mercedes do the double in Formula 1 once again. They are back on top in 2025. It is Valtteri Bottas claiming the Drivers' World Championship. It is Mercedes claiming the Constructors' World Championship. And speaking of the Constructors' Championship, jobs not done. We are just 4 points ahead of Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. There is still everything to play for in that battle with those guys, and I can't wait to see what happens in Abu Dhabi. I'm gonna see if there's any way I can conceivably not have to take a gearbox penalty for Abu Dhabi, because that would massively hamper our ability to compete with the Alpines. However, I would also say that what might massively hamper our ability to compete with the Alpines is if I have a gearbox which is so severely worn that we start getting gearbox jamming and that kind of thing over the course of the Grand Prix, or if we just get a straight gearbox failure, which could happen as well. So yeah, I have to decide what I'm going to do. I would ask the audience for advice on what I should do, but the truth is this video is coming out on Wednesday night. I am currently recording this voiceover on Tuesday afternoon, and I will probably have recorded the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix by the time this video actually goes live on YouTube. So I am going to need to figure this one out on my own, and yeah, hopefully we can arrive at the right decision for the team's championship. I want that P6. I know that we can get it. I'm so confident that we can get it. We are looking so strong in this back part of the season. Once we fully upgraded the car, by the time we got to Singapore, yes, we've had some difficult races. Singapore wasn't fantastic. The Texas Grand Prix wasn't fantastic. Portugal, we just got some supreme bad luck there. But you know, we've also had some high highs. We had a victory in Japan. We had a victory in Brazil, and we've had a victory here today in Las Vegas. I can scarcely believe this one, to be perfectly honest with you. And with one more race to go, I'm going to need to have an absolute cracker if we want to beat Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. Dennis Hauger is going to need to have an absolute cracker if we're going to beat Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. There is still a lot to play for. The difference between P7 and P6 in the Constructors' Championship is something like $3 or $4 million. I can't remember exactly, but it's a lot. It's worth a lot, and will undoubtedly allow us to boost our facilities by a significant amount if we can finish P6 there. So that has got to be the target for the following race. I just want to say congratulations to Dennis Hauger, who did bring home 1 point to help us in our fight with Alpine on this occasion, and well, he could be the difference maker in the end. You never know. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.